Welcome to the Tony Gomez Show. Tonight on the podcast, I have coming at you from Tamaulipas, Mexico, King in Yellow. Hell yeah. My big fingers hit the wrong button, and instead of joining us live right now, the guys got cut off, and I'm so sorry. So they're gonna be jumping in any second now. So until then, let me tell you, these guys put on a great show, and they have got some great music, man. Last time they were here in town, they played at the Black Monk Tavern, and I picked up my own copy of their new album, Boleskine Dream. Hell yeah. So I did some research about Boleskine, and so we're going to talk about that here in a minute too, all right? And even got their first release right here. Hell yeah. King in Yellow, the self-titled. This one came out in 2023. Great stuff on here. Tracks like Burial Song, Daughter of Darkness, Devil's Eyes. Let's see. Oh, orale. Hey, good. Thanks to have you back in the show. Thanks for watching us tonight. I'm going to have the guys jump back in here in just a second. And also, don't forget, Devil's Eyes is on here. Did I mention Daughter of Darkness? What a great single. Daughter of Darkness, man. You guys got to go to their Spotify, give them a follow, and check out King in Yellow. Communion's also on here, Devil Eyes, and Blood Freak. I like the end of Blood Freak. It goes off. Really, I think it's a group vocals that go in there and start yelling and screaming. All right. So I'm really excited to have these guys on the show tonight. They have, matter of fact, they have our drummer from Annihilator, Daniel Garcia, on drums. Man, Daniel's such a badass. No wonder he's playing with multiple bands like Cryptic Mutation, as well as King in Yellow and Annihilator, because he has got some fucking killer chops. Love Daniel. Fucking best of bros. I'm ready to get these guys back in here, and I'm sure they're going to jump in. I can't believe that my big finger cut us off like that. So these guys are going to get back in here. Let me invite them one more time just so we can make it official. Boom. I'm going to get that copy on there. All right. You guys hold on a second. You can hear me talk while I send them the invite. All right. Here's the invite one more time. Boom. 1, 2, 3. They're in, and we're out, and we're back on. All right. Well, fantastic. We're back on. The guys are going to be joining me here just a second. We're going to be talking about Boleskine Dream. And we're going to be talking about their first album. And we're going to talk about their creation of occult stoner doom metal. These guys put on a great show. Man, that was one of the best things that I enjoyed about watching them when they were at the Black Monk was Abel on the front, vocals and guitar, fucking laying that shit down, killing it. So also, man, Daniel's such a solid guitar player. Chris on bass, fucking holding it down, and always with the riffage. Ivan is killing it, man. So I really am excited to start asking these guys some questions tonight. It's going to be a great show tonight. Thanks a lot for you guys that are already tuning in. I expect the guys to join in any second now. Let me go jump back in here to our other communication and see if I can find them. And we're going to get the guys right back on the show. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, God. Okay. All right. Guys, thanks so much for your patience, because this has been nothing but an exciting day for me. Looking forward to talking to the guys tonight. So I had a chance to hang out with Abel and Daniel and the guys for a little bit whenever we did the show. When I went to go see them over at the Black Monk Tavern. I think it's probably already been about 5-6 weeks. And they were doing a Texas tour. They got everywhere, man. They went all over the place. So I want to talk about that and see how the reaction went, man, because I think everybody was getting off to it over at the Black Monk. I think it was really fresh, heavy fucking sound, man. These guys just fucking came out and executed. It was awesome. So also, on top of that, I do got to give a shout out to all my guys in Annihilator. Hell yeah, Daniel Garcia, the drummer for Annihilator. I'm vocalist, and JD De La Rosa, guitar player, as well as my man Alex Dominguez on bass. Yes, Annihilator will be playing in Corpus at the House of Rock, June 21st. It's going to be fucking killer, man. We have got Necroblade. We have got Hell Fury and Throat Locust and Votan. Hell yeah, it's going to be a hell of a show, man. June 21st, Annihilator, Throat Locust, Votan, Necroblade, Hell Fury. You know it. Heavy hitting lineup all night. June 21st, House of Rock. It's going to be a banger. Hell yeah. And matter of fact, right before before I cut the guys off rudely, I'm so sorry, gentlemen. I was just telling them about a gig I have coming up. It's going to be this year's Baldy's Metal Brotherhood. It's coming up. It's going to be the 4th annual show. We're going to be raising money for the Corpus Christi Independent School District guitar programs. So guitar programs in high school, we're going to be helping them out like we have in the past 3 years, collecting money at the door, doing raffles, and just enjoying some great metal on behalf of my brother, Baldy Ramirez. Rest in peace. I love you, Baldy. We're going to have a great show this year. But I was inviting King in Yellow to come and join us and jam with us there on September 20th at the House of Rock, because we had just started to talk about them hitting the road, and they were saying they might have some plans to do that in September. So with me having the show already booked to September 20th, I've got some other acts already in mind that are going to be joining them. God willing, they can join us. That'd be so awesome. One of my favorite bands that I've just discovered, just this year, King in Yellow. That would be so badass. So let me jump over here real quick. Give me a second. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to see if I can catch the guys, and if they can jump in here. I think they were just checking on me. And let's see. It shouldn't be long before they jump in here. Well, let me give you some other news. Coming up this Saturday, the band I just interviewed last week and had a blast talking to, the guys in Identity Crisis. Hell yeah. Shout out to those guys in Identity Crisis. Go to their Spotify, their Apple, their Amazon. Give them a like, give them a follow. Listen to their jams. Nature, listen to their jams. Take Me Away, and get ready for the new one that's going to hit, Tell You Goodbye. I had a great time talking with Reese, James, Parker, and my man, Cosme. Had a great time. Here's the guys. Let me get them in the studio. Goodness gracious. Here.
Sorry about that, Tony.
Hey, man.
Hey, guys, that was my big fat finger that cut us off. I'm so sorry. My apologies.
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Guys, welcome to the show. I've been keeping us alive, talking a little bit about you guys. And let me introduce y'all. Thank you so much for joining us. Everybody out there, this is King in Yellow, and introducing you guys from left to right. Let me let you guys tell me who you are right there. Start with you, Abel.
So I'm Abel Nodoyuna. I'm a lead guitar and vocals.
My name is Gonzalez, the rhythm guitarist.
And I'm Christopher De Leon. I'm the good-looking guy with long hair, and I play bass.
And I'm Daniel Garcia, and I play drums.
Excellent. All right. I like that introduction, Chris. That's the way to go. Hell yeah.
Now you know who the funny wild card is.
So great for you guys to join me tonight, man. It's really excited. I saw you guys at the Black Monk Tavern. Maybe it's been 4 to 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Had such a blast.
Thank you, man.
I was able to start jamming you guys before the show came up. I wanted to go check out and support my man Daniel coming to town. I had heard a lot about you from JD, really propping you guys up. I love some stoner doom metal, and so when I heard you guys are coming to town, started getting my ears filled with some King in Yellow, and seeing you guys throw down live was awesome, man. Abel, great presence, great folks, and man, I tell you, I've been killing it on fucking guitars. Chris on bass, holding it down with the fucking badass long hair.
Yeah.
Daniel always fucking holding it down in the fucking back in the beat. Just so impressive, and became like my favorite band of the year, man, because you guys really kicked ass and was really something fresh for my ears. So, I guess the first thing I wanted to ask is, which one of you guys got the band started?
Started?
What was that? I'm sorry, cut off.
You cut off a little bit.
Oh, okay. Which one of you band members was it? Possibly Abel that originated the band and got everybody together?
Yeah.
Yes. So the project, I kind of started it on my own a few years back, writing the music and making demos and stuff, but it didn't really go anywhere. A few years later, I would meet these guys and kind of made the lineup, and that's when it kind of like took life of its own. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You were you all met first, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They met first, and then they met Danny.
Yeah.
At the time, they didn't have me in there. They had somebody else, and I was the last addition to the band.
Yeah.
So I think it's been like over a year that I've been with them. So
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, okay, Chris. So was there a different bass player that recorded the self-titled EP with you guys, Abel?
Yes.
Well, the tracks for the albums I record myself, the bass. So
Okay.
we had our buddy David. He used to play it live with us. Yeah. But he also helped us out with the recording. But for the album, I played the bass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. All right, way to go. Okay, and was that Dan on drums?
Yeah.
Yes, that was that.
Yeah, I've always been on
Yeah.
drums.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since the beginning.
Awesome. Of course, Ivan's there laying it down too. Well,
Yeah.
fuck yes. All right. Well, next thing is, where did you get this inspiration to start writing these kind of songs, man?
So I mean, I've always been a fan of stoner doom music. Big fan of a big fan of Electric Wizard and Uncle Acid. Yeah, I was gonna name ourselves. Yeah.
No, that's cool,
The
dude.
novel.
Badass.
The novel, not us. But so it just came about from just me having this passion for this music and just wanted to play it. You know, I wanted to make a band and write music like as I would like to hear it. So that's pretty much it. When we got together as a lineup, we started playing covers of Uncle Acid and Electric Wizard, and you know I had these songs. So once we got together and started jamming, and I saw that it had potential, that's when I introduced some of these songs that I had written for King Yellow. And so yeah, it's pretty much just me being a fan and wanting to be like the bands that I look up to. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
hell yeah. Well, that's the way I feel about it too, with the bands that I ended up getting a part of. You know, whether it was back in the death metal days, back in the '90s, where you know we started hearing Obituary and Deicide and Cannibal Corpse. You know, that was like the next extreme thing from hardcore music, like New York hardcore music, that I was playing in a band called Fracture Minority at the time. So, kind of it gets your ear, and when it got you, it got you. So next thing you know, you start just wanting to create like that.
Yeah.
Well, I also wanted to find out.
Sorry. Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you, who's responsible for writing the lyrics and arranging like the music that came out like on the latest album?
So I write music and lyrics, and I arrange everything. And once we have all the parts, teach it to the guys, and we try to get really tight as a band. But I'm responsible for most of the writing. Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome, man. All right. Okay. Cool. Well, you know what? I never heard of the word Boleskine. And am I pronouncing that right?
Boleskine, yeah.
Boleskine. Okay,
Yeah.
Boleskine. So I'm looking at Boleskine Dream, and what comes up, of course, is you guys know, that's Boleskine Manor or Boleskine House.
Yes.
And I like the story. I like the story about that. A shout out to my guys from Life Cycles in San Antonio, because they also go by Southeast Side Metal, but Boleskine was Southeast Side Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands, I found out.
Yes. Yeah, so I took kind of inspiration from that. The story of Aleister Crowley and how Jimmy Page, he owned the song. He owned the house, and so that kind of inspired me to write a song about like what was going on and like what would it be like, I guess, living in that house and kind of having these visions and this kind of power trip that Mr. Crowley was in there. So that's kind of it sounds so cool as a title that I used it as a title track, yeah. But the album itself is different topics for each song, yeah.
Yes, exactly. I know what you mean, but that's great, man. That's very cool. I like to tie in with that, with the occult. Him being the author of the Satanic Bible.
Yeah.
I got to admit, when I was a kid, I guess I was probably about 12 or 13, and we used to have a bookstore called Walden Books in the mall here, right Padre Staples Mall, and I stole my copy of the Satanic Bible, and I read that fucker from front to back, and I'm a Catholic, and I was always raised that way, but I was into metal, into Slayer, I get into all that shit, so I dug into that, and it wasn't for me. But it was very enlightening to see the other side, because now I understand both sides. And him being the author, the author of it and stuff, and him being like the high priestess of the Church of Satan, in San Francisco and stuff like that. It's funny. It brought back a lot of old memories of reading that book when I was, doing the research on you guys. So I really dig that you tie that into your music, man, because I think it's really powerful, and me as a fan, like that kind of lore about the music that you guys got going on.
That's cool, man. Thank you. Yeah, we try to get inspiration from a lot of places. mainly horror movies with occult themes, but also like some of real life stuff like that. It's just part of like the whole aesthetic of doom metal and metal as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I like the samples that come before. Most of the songs, like on the first track, Burial Song. Let me ask you about that. It sounds like is it like a traditional burial song that you have as an intro?
No, it's from a film called Fando Elise. It's a Mexican film from the '60s, and
Really? All
yeah,
right.
yeah. So and it is in the context, it is kind of in a graveyard, but I just thought it would be interesting. Us being a Mexican
Yeah.
band and a Mexican doom band, I think it's a nice way to start with something that sounds kind of traditional and then kick in with like the full doom. Yeah.
Yes, hell yeah. Or even like the intro for Devil's Eyes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And it just takes a little phrase like that, right? Boom.
Yeah.
Very cool, very powerful. I like that stuff, man. And so your self-titled came out November 23. How long did it take you guys to put together that material? After y'all guys got together, the three of y'all, before Chris, I guess, obviously before Chris came in.
Well, me and Danny worked out the songs.
Yeah.
I had written out the material, and then me and Danny
we wrote the drums together.
Yeah.
We kind of worked together like on the drums. More or less to kind of collab just to make the music sound great. But on the first EP, yeah, he had written everything, and we kind of collabed together on that. And actually, we just recorded everything in my garage, and one day our bass player David, because he produces and records himself, and he recorded us there in the garage, and he had some fellow friends come from Brownsville and lend us their equipment to record, man. So we only had like 5-6 hours to record,
Yeah, we recorded it in the afternoon. But as far as working out the music between me and Danny, it took us a few months.
Yeah.
Of like sitting down, working, performing. We did a few shows before recorded. So yeah, but the recording process was very quick.
Super fast. Yeah. Within 6 hours, it got done.
Yeah.
For the EP.
Yeah.
So,
That's pretty awesome, man. It sounds like it didn't take very many takes to lay that down.
No, yeah, we try to work a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, we worked. Yeah. Did our best to be on the metronome, be super tight and work together on that, to get it down.
Yeah.
Because we only had those few hours to record.
Yeah, and the equipment as well.
Yeah.
So.
Equipment, so.
Way to be prepared, man. And when you're playing that kind of metal, slow is hard when you're used to playing fast all the time.
Yeah. It was a little. I'm used to the music. I've always been into the music, but yeah, I play a lot of death metal and speed and thrash metal and stuff like that. It didn't take me too long to get used to it and kind of bring down my tempo on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've had a great time, man, with the band. It's been a good experience. It's been awesome. Doing that kind of drumming style. It's been great.
Yeah. I should mention that most of the band, they all come from different backgrounds of like metal and musical styles. Like I'm the doom guy, right? I got us together. I'm like, let's play doom metal, right? But I know they all perform different. I know Chris and Danny, they have. So I don't know if they want to talk about what it is like for them playing this genre.
Oh yeah, I mean, as I've always been into just straight metal, just a complete metalhead kid when I was in 5th grade, Metallica, just like anyone else, And from there, of course, I dabbled in different genres of metal. Even doom metal, I still was very familiar with it before I even thought of I'd be in a doom metal band. But I was just very used to fast, aggressive music. Me and Danny play in a death metal band together. That's how I got asked to play in this band, because I play guitar also, but in the band, I do the vocals. I've always been a guitarist. And from there, I have a knack for playing bass as well, because I know all about rhythm and whatnot. So whenever I'm sorry, I thought you were gonna say something, but when I did join the band, it is definitely doom metal because it's not death metal. You know what I mean? So the whole time I'm like, you know what I mean? Okay, as opposed to you know what I mean? But still, it's since I'm familiar with that style of music, listening to it, you know what I mean? Playing it is a small adjustment, but it's easy. It's good fun. You know what I mean? So it's easy for me to adjust to something like that, considering I'm familiar with how to play guitar, how to play bass, and then of course I'm familiar with the style itself. So.
Hell yeah! And Ivan, how about you? What's your favorite genre?
For me, I really like metalcore, and I started playing that as a metal. But then when I met Abel at college, he started to talk about the horror movies. He used to carry all the shirts, and I was like, I've never seen any of those things. I never. It's like
Oh,
it's
cool. All right.
So, also we met. Well, he was studying guitar, and also was
We were both studying guitar, yeah.
So we were in similar classes, and I started to talk with him, and he started to share all of the things that he did.
Yeah.
And so the talk kept going until we started to meet for a Halloween show, and he was like, okay, let's play doom metal, and that was my first time listening to Uncle Acid, and I'm like, wow, it completely has a dark vibe.
Yeah.
It was really fun. So I kept listening to more music, and yeah, I think that's how I got into this. So it's
You got hooked, man. He got you hooked on that. Hell yes. It's contagious, dude. It
It's
rocks.
like a drug. Yeah.
I think I went to their first show. Was that right?
It was at their first show. Yeah.
When I went to
Oh, hell yeah.
I went to go support Danny, and so I had not met them at that point, but I was like, oh, they're pretty good, you know. So it's kind of funny how I went from they're pretty good to now I have to be just as good to be in that band. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Hell yeah. Yes, hell yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I really like I want to call out the bangers that are on that self-titled, man. You have Burial Song, Blood Freak, and at the end of Blood Freak is that who's on there making all that noise, Abel?
That's a sample from Evil Dead 2. That's
Oh,
Campo.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard. I like that. Hell yes.
Yeah.
I like that. Of course, the single Daughter of Darkness, that goes hard on that one.
Yeah.
Devil's Eyes and Communion. Great jams on that first EP.
Thank you, man.
And then, you know, before you know it, October 24 comes around and it looks like Mother Knows gets dropped. And not long after that,
Single.
in November, We Kill. Man, We Kill, that's a jam. I really like that one a lot.
Thank you.
That's one of my favorites that I like to crank up. And next thing you know, 3 weeks later, the whole album comes out.
Yeah.
And dude, I really love the album. You keep on raising the bar, and I love the live performance. So I can't wait to see you guys again. But what I really liked also is when I saw Abel perform. You know, I got to see Chris Cornell from Soundgarden on the Louder Than Love album before they became, you know, huge. And they were opening up for Voivod, and it was on the Killing Technology tour. And it was the shit. They was in San Antonio at the showcase. And another band from Seattle called the Big F opened up. But that was the first time to see Soundgarden. I'd only seen their video Louder Than Love on Headbangers Ball maybe once or twice. But he came out killing it, and Abel was like, just like fucking Chris, going out there and killing it with that sincerity, great vocals, great guitar work, and really just kind of brought back. It was like, man, it was like, this is a moment. Like, this guy's got some fucking incredible talent. So it doesn't surprise me when you tell me that you already had all this written, that you just needed to bring in the right guys to finally execute on this, on all the ideas that you already had kind of, you know, building up with doom metal and how you wanted to execute this. So big props on the latest album. It's fucking awesome. But let me take it back and let me start with you, Daniel. Tell me, you know, who inspired you? I know we might have covered this whenever we did our Annihilator interview, but this is King in Yellow, so I want to hear it again for people that are watching this. Who inspired you to get on the drums, man?
Would have to be Bill Ward and Vinnie Paul. You know, when I was like a young kid, started off with like a lot of 80s metal and like regular metal, you know, with my uncles and aunts, you know. But yeah, just those two guys basically. You know, Bill Ward's he's one of my top guys up there as well. You know.
Have you had a chance to see Bill live?
No, never had a chance, man. I got to see, you know, Oz, not Black Sabbath, you know, but still a good show as well. But yeah, man, it's one of my inspirations, you know.
I love those guys, man. Hell yeah. It makes me feel old, but I've seen Bill twice at Ozfest a couple of times. Oh, it's fucking amazing. Such a great fucking, because I'm a drummer as well, but I'm not as good as you guys as someone like yourself on drums. So I had to find another place to fit into the band. And, you know, just like Chris plays guitar, but, you know, he's rocking the bass with you guys. Yeah. I wanted to jam with my bros, and my bros already had a badass drummer that was a lot better than me. So I had to fucking fill in on drum on vocals. So from then on, I've been a vocalist. But
nice.
Bill Ward was always a shit, man. I remember we sold our soul for rock and roll, and that was just like the Bible of fucking drumming right there. It was awesome.
Great drummer, man. I always appreciated his drumming. Hell yeah.
Yes, bro. Always, man. I wish they would kind of fix all that fucking band bullshit where they could just have the original lineup. And I know they're gonna have that coming up in somewhere in London coming up pretty soon, right?
Yeah, Birmingham. Yeah, I think
Birmingham. Hell yeah, where it all started. Fuck, it's gonna be amazing. I hope they put that like on pay-per-view or something live. Where
yeah, that should record it. Yeah.
Yes. Well, Chris, tell me who inspired you to get on the axe.
Well, as far as like guitar wise, I always give my credit to Metallica, man. Like straight up, like to this day, I can't. Yeah, just in general, like so. The way I see it is, since I do guitar, I do bass, and I'm also a vocalist. I can't necessarily pinpoint one single musician in a band, right? It's more so the bands in general that I like. Like of course Metallica. I'm a huge Gwar fan, and the reason I bring up Gwar, the reason I bring up Gwar is because their stage presence and the idea behind entertainment was something that was like, dude, I want to do that. I'm the type that's not afraid to do something cool. Of course, I have to like suit. You know, I can't go with King in Yellow with all these masks and shit, right? But the idea behind bands like that. Same thing with like Anthrax and you know, just the big heavy hitters. Of course, their main goal was to be badass and entertain. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So everything that they did, you know, each band member, I was like, okay, well, I want to be a good guitarist so I can be as entertaining as them. I want to be a good vocalist so I could be as entertaining as them. You know what I mean? So I owe it all to all the bands that I first started off on. And then from there, you know, any other band that I listened to after was because of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
But my ability to learn how to play instruments is a wide variety of different musicians in all these bands I've listened to. But like I said, I got to give credit to the most known ones for me, at least, was Metallica, Gwar, stuff like that, because they kind of like remind me like, you got to be badass. You know what I mean? So So yeah, and like I said, I was a guitar player before a bass player, but I take that same mentality here. So when I'm just like how you mentioned, like with Abel and Ivan being really great guitarists, Danny being a really great drummer, I'm playing bass, you know, but I also want to make sure that I still stand out. You know what I mean? Because these guys do really badass shit, right? So myself, like I'm making sure that I'm rocking out like, oh, I remember that guy. He's like that funny, cool, long-haired guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, like it's all about entertaining in my eyes. So yeah, I have a lot of, I guess, like experience through the stuff I grew up with. So yeah.
I love that, Chris, because I don't have the greatest voice, but I love to fucking perform, dude. I love to perform, bring the energy, and just bring what I can to the table, and just leave it all out there and just lose myself.
For sure. So, and I still remember you from back in the day, like in Killamora, when I was, I think it was like 2008 around there. I think it was. Yeah, you guys played down in Far at one point. I was there at that show. I was all like little with short hair and shit, but I remember you all. So yeah.
Did I have my face painted by chance?
Yes. And I was about to say, and I know you have inspiration through entertaining with you know, face paint, because I remember that. Yeah. So.
Oh man, my first concert was Kiss in '79 at the Dynasty tour, the last tour they had with the makeup. And when I saw Gene Simmons there at the Hemisphere in San Antonio, spitting blood, blowing fucking fire in the demon costume, I knew I wanted to be a rock star.
There you go.
So I've been rocking out my whole life. So I've made that dream come true. I never did that kind of pinnacle. But man, it's been such a great ride. But because of Gene, I always painted my face in my first couple of bands, and also given respects to the King Diamond. You know, the real King. You know, so I would do some King with some mix of Gene, and we'll always change it up with different colors and different designs. But that's what I'm talking about. I know where you're coming from, and I like bringing that performer aspect, even if it's wearing a mask for one or two songs, just to change it up at the beginning of a show or whatever. Just kind of having fun with the moment and leaving an impression with the crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
So Ivan, tell me, who inspired you to get grinding on the axe?
For me, I started to get involved in music because of Guitar Hero World Tour. So
That's awesome.
That's badass.
So
A video game, in other words.
so the video game. And
No shit, that's cool.
So I got
Yes,
to
all right.
listen
That was a
to
great
all that
introduction
stuff.
for a lot of people. Was the sound to all the music that they brought to the table.
Yeah, and I was really big. Like I really loved that game. I used to play it all the time when I was in elementary, and but then I said to my mom, I want to learn guitar. Like I want to do the same things, and I started taking lessons and practicing. I started with songs of System of a Down, Foo Fighters,
Oh yeah,
Metallica, and then from there I just kept going, and
yeah.
here I am. I just had a
Oh, that's great. Hell
That's pretty
yes.
cool.
Hell yeah.
I didn't even know that, but that's pretty badass.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Did you buy your first axe or did your parents buy it for you?
My parents.
That's
Yeah.
great. And a lot of times for us, my house burned down and I had to claim my posters, my albums, my cassettes got destroyed. And I got $385 and I was in 8th grade. And that's how I bought my first drum set from my best friend brother who was just graduating high school and didn't want to play anymore. But, you know, I didn't have that parental support, you know, and so to have that is so powerful and so supportive because it really takes you to a different level. But at the same time, for those that don't, it just, you know, it really shows the determination of wanting to get that gear or whatever means need to be necessary to make that dream stay alive. But you've been very blessed, Ivan, to have that. Well, how about you, Abel? Did you have some parent support throughout, you know, getting this thing started?
Yeah. My parents have been very supportive.
Awesome.
I've been playing in bands since I was like 14, 15. So I started very young. And they've always been there for me. My dad's helping me carry my amps and taking care of me. And to this day, you know, they show up to the shows. They're really supportive. And I can't be more grateful, you know, to have them. I know.
Does he rock too? Is he a rocker?
Yeah, well, they like classic rock and stuff. You know, they're not too much into the heavier stuff, but they still support me and they still dig the band, and that's what really means a lot to me. You know, that I guess I kind of exposed them to this music, and they've been growing to like it, and you know, it's just, having that support is just been I'm just very grateful for it. You know, it means a lot.
I got to piggyback off of this. Ever since I joined this band, I've seen one of his family members, at least not all of them, at every single show. To this day, my parents have still never watched me play, and it's okay. It's not a bad thing. I always laugh and tell people, like, man, my parents, they're like, I can't understand what you're saying. I don't know. What, and I'm like, but they still are like, hey, go do it. But they still to this day have never seen me play. So I'm not even jealous. I'm like, man, that's crazy. I've never seen a father go watch his son at every single show. But I mean, yeah, his family is very supportive of him, so it's really cool.
That just shows the dynamics of the different backgrounds that we come from. Yeah. And that's very, you know, you mentioned that, Chris, because my dad and my mom never came to my shows, dude. Yeah. Never, ever. And lately I do a month. I do a Christmas show now, and it's called Tony's Twisted Christmas Spectacular, and it's going on, I guess, my 6th year. This will be my 6th year going on, and now they come because it's a Christmas show where we're playing all Christmas songs, but we're doing them like 80s metal, like Twisted Sister, shit like that.
Yeah.
So they're all like, "Oh, it's the best thing ever," and so it's great to finally have them here. Here I am, 54. And now they're finally coming around, but I've been in your boat forever, dude. And
I got to trick them.
At the same time, it's kind of cool because I never have to worry about my dad or mom showing up while I'm having a beer or having a good time. Yeah. But regardless, let's get back to Abel. Tell me, Abel, who got you fired up to start playing guitar?
So for guitar, I mean, I have to go back to the roots and say Tony Iommi with Black Sabbath, one of the first bands that I heard. I know he's a legend, you know, a riff and his solos and everything. And, you know, I've got really inspired by Randy Rhoads, Zakk Wylde, Dimebag, and just, you know, studying those guys and their language, you know, being heavy and shreddy, but also very musical and bluesy. And so they've always been big inspirations for me. You know, I don't know, man, those are my big four, but I've always been into lots of different types of music. And now that I've always been very complacent with being a guitarist, you know, just the lead guitar and whatever. And when I started this band, it got into the point where I have to be like not just a guitarist, but also a songwriter and a vocalist. And so Nowadays I get inspiration from everywhere. You know, singer-songwriters like Neil Young and rhythm guitarists like Doyle or Johnny Ramone. But when I first started and I was getting into the solos and all that, it was Tony Iommi, Randy Rhoads, Zach Wild, and Dimebag. You know, it's all about those guys for me.
Oh, great choices right there. Great, very hugely influential artists. So it's no surprise that these guys, got you fired up, man. Because I was a fan through the years, they just kept me hungry, dude. The guys that got me started were Kiss, Styx, ELO. You know what I mean? Old schoolers like that. But before you know it, it became Judas Priest. It became Maiden, and then from then on, I was just all Maiden, dude. And I would always fight with my friends. We would have fights between Judas, who liked Judas Priest and who liked Iron Maiden, and I was always Maiden. They were usually, I was always, 1 versus 4 guys, and I would always get dogpiled. But I love Maiden, dude, with the fucking the artwork and everything, and can't take nothing away from Priest because I love Halford. I fucking love Halford, and it's funny. Probably, I was talking the other day about the band, about compliments that I've gotten, and so I'm going to share one with you real quick, just because we talked about Rob, and it's probably been in Killamora, so maybe 2005 or 2006. A little kid came up to me after a set. He goes, "Dude, you're like the Mexican Rob Halford. I love you."
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
I can see that.
It was the best, dude. It was so cool. I'm like, what? Like Rob Halford? I don't think no one's ever said that to me again, and they never probably will. But it made me feel like, fuck, man, I hit it, man. I hit it.
Yeah. Now as you mentioned Priest, I mean, I gotta mention Glenn Tipton as well.
Glenn, yes.
Blew me away when I was like very young and Sabbath and Priest, and I was like, dude, this guy, his solos, and to this day, I think he was very ahead of his time, doing all the sweeping and arpeggios like in the early '70s, mid '70s, and like you would hear that stuff like in the '80s with Yngwie, but Glenn Tipton was doing that shit like way before. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but yeah. So Priest, I'm a huge Priest fan. So yeah, Glenn Tipton was definitely there. Yeah.
You know what? And speaking of Glenn Tipton, oh my God, here comes another story. I always wanted when Glenn it was the Defenders of the Faith. I used Screaming for Vengeance and Defenders. I listened to him on my Walkman all the time, everywhere I went. And I wanted my hair like Glenn Tipton. He had badass hair, all feathered back. Blonde. So I grew my hair out, and I told my mom, I said, "Hey, I want to get it styled just like Glenn Tipton." She goes, "All right, we'll take the picture to you to the hairstylist and show her what you want." So I said, "Hey, I want my hair to look like this." She was like, "Well, you're gonna need a body wave." And I said, "Well, whatever, just make it look like that." I walked out of there with a fucking perm, a full-on perm. It was the fucking worst ever. Oh my God, dude. I couldn't shower that shit out. Of course, for 3 months I was tortured with the perm.
Wow.
And it was I never shared that story before, and I probably never will again. But, oh man, fuck. All right, I tell you what, let's get some more fun shit going. Daniel, started with you. Tell me, what was your first concert, brother?
My first concert, man, like the big one was Morbid Angel and Pantera when they came down to the RGV during that tour. I have been to other shows, but I want to say like a nice big show with like a lot of people. That was a good one.
That was a great one, dude. Did Phil come out there and sing a song with Morbid?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
that was tight.
That was
great, dude. Who else was on that lineup? I want to say maybe Nothing Face.
Nothing Face was on there.
Yeah, Nothing Face and stuff like that. But Soulfly, I think, right?
Soulfly, right?
Soulfly was there. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Nice. They were on there, man. But,
Reinventing the Steel. That was a great one right there.
It was a good one. That was a pretty cool concert.
Chris, how about you? What was your first?
Dude, it's crazy that you say this because I recently posted on my Instagram a story of my first concert, and it went viral. It blew up. It blew up to where to this day people are still talking about it. But I'll tell you what it was. It was in '98. I went to go see Megadeth play in McAllen. Now, if people out there don't know this, Dave Mustaine will never play McAllen again. And you could look it up. You could like Google it or YouTube.
Oh shit! Damn.
Just YouTube. Dave Mustaine hates McAllen, Texas.
Fucker.
but yeah, it was at the time I was like in 8th grade or something. But it was my very first show. And and this band called Soak, just some band called Soak opened and Monster Magnet. So from what I understand, people were kind of like upset that those bands opened. So they were kind of like, man, these bands suck, you know, whatever. That's their opinion, right? So they were booing a lot throughout the time. So when Megadeth came out, they were like riled up, and I don't know why, but they started throwing shit at Dave Mustaine.
Oh no!
And people were throwing stuff, and Dave Mustaine basically said, "Hey, if you don't quit this shit, you know, I'm gonna fucking walk off." And they didn't quit. So he's like, you know what? I think like after like the 4th song or something, they were out. So yeah, my memory of my first show is very clear. And it just happened to be one of the probably like the most historic at the same time. So
for real.
Yeah, so it was. I still have my ticket stub and everything. So yeah.
What album was that? For Megadeth?
Man, I think Cryptic Writings was out.
I was gonna say Cryptic, and that's they were in a hard time for Cryptic Writings, right?
Yeah.
They weren't playing no arenas; they were playing small places.
Right, and so that's why they played. I mean, that makes more sense now that I think about it, because I didn't think of it at the time. But yeah, they I think people were pissed at that too. I just remember people were pissed.
It was weird.
At Megadeth, and they bought tickets to go out there. Like, it's crazy, but yeah, it was very memorable for sure.
Oh shit! All right, Ivan, how about yourself? What was your first concert?
Probably for me, it's gonna be different from this. It's because I started playing at a church, so I got to see several bands that were like kind of big in the Christian music. So looking at that, that's where I get more excited of performing.
Yeah.
But for name of
Were they
bands,
like Christian metalcore bands?
No, it was really like just the normal
worship
type of vibe. But seeing how they set up and all of that thing was, for me, I was like 15. So seeing all of that, I got really big, like, oh, they have carrying all this stuff.
Yeah.
But then, to say outside the Christian world, my first concert was went to see Sleeping with Sirens in San Antonio. So that's where I'm like, this is the thing. Yeah. It was recently, in a way, I don't know, 5 years. So, but yeah, I know that it's gonna be different. But
hey, it is what it is.
No, that's great, man. Fuck yeah.
It's good. It was good.
I like that. Okay, cool. Well, Abel, what was your first?
I have a different one too. Me and my dad, we went to see Caifanes, which is like this Mexican rock band. When they came to Hidalgo in 2016, and so that was like my first big concert, and it was great. I mean, Caifanes is very, very different from what like the heavy music that we're used to, but I really liked them a lot, and my dad likes them a lot. So we were like, it was like a father-son type of thing. We went to see them, and it was great, man. The show was amazing. And we got the set list from them. So I was very excited, man. I was like, it's my first big show. I got the set list. I got to see the band super close, like up front. So it was a great experience, yeah. It was a great experience, yeah.
Oh, that's the best, dude. Hell yeah. I like those kind of, I went to see Agnostic Front a couple of weeks ago with Murphy's Law at the House of Rock. And I got a drumstick from their drummer, Dan. And I was like, oh, it's the best. And I get, you can still hang out at the back of the venue and meet the guys. And so I took pictures with them, and nothing but super guys. But yeah, dude, nothing like getting a souvenir. I love pics. Yeah. I love all that shit.
I have a piece of Cold Chamber's wheel, like the nut, whatever. Like I didn't take it, but a friend of mine. Long story short, when they played in McAllen, they didn't want to do any autographs, and a couple of my schoolmates were there. And they kept like hitting the bus to come out. They were being annoying. And one of them kicked the wheel, and one of the nut caps, whatever, fell off. So he took it, and he was like, "Here, you can have it." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." So I have a piece of Cold Chamber. I think it's hilarious.
Nice.
Yeah. Good souvenir. I like some Cold Chamber. Des is a bad motherfucker. Fucking Devil Driver.
Yeah.
That's some good shit right there. All right. I tell you what. Going back to you, Daniel. What would be your dream tour, bro? Give me 3 bands that you'd love to be able to open up for on the road.
To open up for, man, that's a good one.
Or you could headline. It's your tour.
I mean,
they don't have to be alive either. You know what I mean? It could be old school bands. It's all good. Anything goes.
For sure, man. For just like what I usually play, death metal and everything. Like the legendary Cannibal Corpse. Suffocation. That would be pretty cool. to go on tour with. As in for King in Yellow, Electric Wizard for sure is one of mine. Maybe some Bongzilla or something. Just some just some stoner doom metal bands that are out there. They've been out there for a while. But yeah, man, those are some of the bands I like to just go out there. Uncle Acid, like another one's a big inspiration for us and for me and Abel. Basically, it's a big inspiration. As in that band
right here.
Yeah, he has it on right there, and but yeah, man. Some of the bands I would like to go on the road with, I think would be pretty, fun and cool, to go out there and do what I like.
That would be a great show with all those bands on the lineup. Yes.
Great, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Chris?
Man, that's a hard one. I don't know, but I always think it'd be cool to go back in time, like when, like our style would be really cool. Like, let's say to play with like Jimi Hendrix or just like at Woodstock.
Yeah.
To take what we know now, like just with everything, equipment and everything, and just like, hey, let's go back in time, guys, real quick, and let's play for all these people and just blow their fucking minds.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, dude, that's how I feel. Like
That's kind of cheating in a way.
well, hey, people can dream, right? Like I totally do like a Terminator. Let's go back in time and fucking rearrange some stuff. So yeah, but that's what I would like to do. Really, like, of course, like anything modern, I think just a really big badass fest, would be great, just to kind of be exposed to like a lot of new fans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anywhere where we can, I guess, get like the most eyes drawn to us for a good amount of time, so that we could lock in more fans, But as far as like dream tours, man, I'll play with just about anybody, really. So yeah. I'd love to go back in time for sure, though.
Hell yeah, that's a great idea. I like that, dude. And you guys got a great fucking powerful sound, dude. You would fucking blow people away if you jumped in the Jimi Hendrix in the world back then. They would be like, you guys are so fucking heavy.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to do
they
that.
thought Black Sabbath was heavy at that point. Right?
Yeah.
They were just getting started. They were like, oh my God. Even you'd have Tony Iommi being a fan of you guys.
There you go.
Yeah, that'd be far out. That'd be a killer movie.
It would be like Back from the Future, like
right.
Listen, Marvin Iommi. This is the sound you're looking for.
That's right, dude. Oh shit! It's kind of like Back to the Future meets like Tenacious D's movie Pick of Destiny. Fuck, and throw in like Detroit Rock City.
Yeah.
Some other good one, another good one right there.
I'd love something like that.
Hell yeah, Ivan. What do you think? What would be your dream tour?
Sleeping with Sirens, for sure, right?
Yeah,
That's true, probably.
But does it count being alive? Like, can I choose from?
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, dude, I would back in time, bro.
Tell me who you want.
First, I would love Van Halen. I don't know. Of course.
That'd be a pretty good one, though.
Yeah.
If we
Van Halen, yeah.
Van
Van
Halen.
Halen, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Love me some Eddie Van Halen. Fuck yeah, all day.
And from the modern times, I will say Meshuggah. I really love it.
Oh yeah.
And
Brutal.
Yeah.
What could be the other one? No.
Give me one more.
I blanked out. Sorry.
Good, man.
You keep wanting to be on the Guitar Hero soundtrack.
Yes.
The thing that I like is just playing with anyone.
Yeah.
It's be like, oh, what do they have? Like, oh, they have this. It's like really cool experience to meet a bunch of people.
Yeah. Sometimes strategically, it's not best, but it's not a bad idea to play with bands that sound nothing like us.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
it brings a different type of crowd. You know what I mean? So
it's really cool.
I can understand what he means, because I'd be down to open shit. If we got a chance to open for Taylor Swift, I'm like, dude, we're taking that motherfucker.
Fuck yes.
We're gonna make the band and some money. So yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Too funny.
All right, I dig it. Okay, Ivan, what do you think, Abel? How about your dream tour?
I guess if we could go back in time, or I mean, they're still like going on strong, but I would love to open for Danzig or Merciful Fate. I love those bands, yeah. And I guess a more obvious choice would be Uncle Acid, because they're my heroes, Electric Wizard. But I don't feel worthy, I would just want to go see them, right? But yeah, any of those bands, even going back in time and opening for Black Sabbath or Ozzy, I would love to be there to see Randy Rhoads. If we were opening for Ozzy and I got to see Randy from the side of the stage, man, that would be a fucking masterclass. So yeah.
Great choices right there. Hell yeah. No, to be able to go back and be able to see Rand, I miss. That was one of the shows that I wanted to go to here in town that I didn't get a chance to see. Ozzy with Randy Rhoads on Diary of a Madman. I always hear about it from all my old school friends. They're like, "Oh, that was a fucking shit."
That's
Randy
a great tour.
Bad.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I think my first concert over here in town was, shit. It's kind of a blur. I want to say maybe Kiss, Creatures of the Night.
Mm.
But after that, I just went to everything. I was hooked. But you know how it goes, man. You want to be able to go out and enjoy as much as you possibly can.
Hell yeah.
But man, something about a dream tour, man. It keeps us. It definitely keeps me inspired because I got an original band. War Cult besides Annihilator, and I would love to be able to open up for some old school bands like Death Angel, Exodus, Voivod. Some thrashy bands that we go really well with. So those would be some bands that I'd probably throw into my dream tour. But let's talk about some horror movies. All right, and let's get started with you, Abel. Tell me, what's your favorite horror movie?
I have a few favorite horror movies.
Give me a few. Yeah, fuck yeah.
So one of my favorite horror movies of all time is The Beyond, 1981. It's Italian horror, zombie, surreal, and that's a huge inspiration for me. The aesthetics. Another movie that I really love, and I feel very proud that it's a Mexican horror movie. It's called Alucarda. That was a huge inspiration on the aesthetic of the band, and the first EP, Daughter of Darkness, is based on that movie. And Juan Lopez Montezuma, really, really important Mexican director. The film came out at a time where Mexico's always been very conservative, and so the film touches some taboo themes with the whole occult thing and everything. So I was like, that's metal as hell to release a movie like that during that first time. So and it's a movie that can stand toe to toe with some of the best exploitation movies from Italy and the US. So that's one of my favorites. And I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan. So Final Chapter is always, I love Jason, I love the slashers, and so those are some of my favorites. Yeah.
Good ones. Those are nice. Ivan, how about you?
For me, I recently got into the horror movies. Thanks to everyone. I'm usually thinking hey, what can I watch? What can I see? And so far, I recently saw The Lighthouse, and I would say that movie is really, really good. I don't understand the ending yet, but it was a good one. So I keep it that one. That's the highest right now.
That's a good one, man. Hell yeah. Starring the Batman, Robert Pattinson, man. He's good.
Yeah.
He's really good, cool. Man. William Dafoe. Oh, William's always good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about you, Chris? What's your favorite horror?
So strict horror for sure. Return of the Living Dead is one of my I never get tired of that movie. Just everything about it is very like punk rock and fun.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, that first one, yes, especially the first one.
It just reminds me of how fun dead things can could be as entertaining, you know what I mean? So a lot of the inspiration with me as a musician and anytime I have to write is definitely based off of that movie in particular as a whole. I'm all right, this is gonna be something fucking about people dying, getting eaten, but it's gonna be a good time. You know what I mean?
It's really fun.
So really about that movie for sure. Another one of my favorites, it's not horror per se, but it is definitely gory, is a Toxic Avenger. I'm a really huge Toxic Avenger fan.
Yeah, fuck yeah, the Toxic Avenger. Classic.
It goes back to the same thing. It's over the top, gory, and fun. So that's basically how I like to live my life as an entertainer. So yeah, those are my two for sure that I can, if I have to be on an island and watch those things over and over, I can do it for sure. So yeah,
you could do those. All right, hell yeah. Daniel, what do you got?
For me, oh man, Hellraiser was a big one for me. The first two were good. Part 3 was okay, man. But yeah, Hellraiser was a good inspiration for me. Of course, the Michael Myers, Then you got the classics of the Wolfman Dracula, the Mummy stuff. I like to go. Bram Stoker Dracula was another one that really hit me, in the early 90s. That one was a good one.
With Gary Oldman, yeah.
Pumpkinhead. I mean, the list goes on.
Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, I mean, I used to watch a bunch of horror films during the weekends for movie nights in the early 80s and 90s as well and stuff like that. So it was always a little cool thing to do with my aunts. You know, my aunts were like the ones that got me and my brother into horror films like Freddy Krueger, of course, like the Jasons and the Chuckies. You know, all the famous ones out there. You know, but
yes,
it's like a mix of everything. You know, I like a little bit of all of it. You know, it's really good.
those are some great ones, man.
Yeah.
You know what? They're supposed to have a series called Fred coming out. That looks really good.
Yeah.
Nice.
I haven't seen that or heard of that. That's badass.
That's gonna be cool, man. I love me some horror, man. Michael Myers was the one that scared the shit out of me when I saw him. And I guess it was '79. I saw the first one in the movie theater, and I couldn't sleep at night. I thought Michael Myers was fucking peeking in every fucking window of my house. I was horrified for about a month. And it was just one of those things that left it. The Exorcist didn't do nothing to me, really. I thought it was kind of far out, you know, the scenes, fuck me,
Yeah.
and all the crazy fucking shit like that. And
That's crazy, man, because same thing with me. Like, a lot of horror movies didn't really do my mind dirty when I was a kid. But for whatever fucking reason, Jurassic Park, I don't know what it was, but I had nightmares about the T-Rex for fucking weeks. I don't know what the fuck it was. Everything else didn't do much to me, but that thing. So yeah, that's pretty funny that we're saying that. So yeah.
oh hell yeah, I can imagine, dude. Hell yes.
I was
I
always
haven't
getting
remembered
chased
my
from a
dreams
ball.
in so long, dude. I'm missing out, and it's a shame because I don't miss the nightmares, but I do miss the dreams.
Oh,
I
yeah,
do
there you
miss
go,
the good
yeah.
shit. Yes, great. How about sci-fi? Y'all like some sci-fi
Oh,
horror
yeah,
too? You like the
yeah.
aliens? Anybody alien
Yeah,
fans?
dude.
Predator?
They just released the new Predator trailer today.
Yeah.
Predator
Oh
Badlands.
shit, did
yeah.
they?
Yeah, you
Oh, I
check it
gotta
out.
watch that.
Yeah, it's funny though because it kind of looks more like a Star Wars movie, if anything.
Yeah.
Like, obviously it's Predator based, but when you watch it, like, take my word for it, like, it gives you like a Star Wars kind of feel, which is kind of funny. You'll see what I mean when you see it, but yeah,
Wow.
the
Killer.
look.
I love me some Star Wars all day too. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, when's your next show? Or and also, when are we gonna get some more new release from you guys?
So our next show is next weekend actually.
May
Yeah, May
3rd.
3rd. We're playing local show here in Edinburgh, house show. We got a few more shows after that coming up. We have our socials, you know, King Yellow MX and Facebook and Instagram. We always try to like update everybody on the shows there. We're getting some cool offers. We can't say much right now, but we're gonna be around, you know, and just try to get the music out there as much as possible to as much people as possible. Try to convert them into the cult of King Yellow. And as far as new music goes, right now I'm writing the new stuff. I wouldn't really know to say if we would record it this year or next year, but it'll come soon. But it is being worked on. I always try to work on new music, try to work out with the guys too. So yeah, right now we're focusing more on shows, getting some tours, some big shows, and you know, big small shows wherever, trying to get the word out. And all the meantime, I'm writing in my writing process. So yeah, music for sure soon, but right now we're more focused on the shows. Yeah. I can't say though that the music is more. You know, we try to experiment a little bit with the shows. You know, with the music. The first EP, I thought it was very straightforward doom metal. This Boleskine Dream, we kind of had some wiggle room to experiment with some stuff with the title track and stage fright. You know, more heavy metal, punk influences. The new material is sounding much more slower, doomier, like the last two tracks on the album. So. Yeah, I like having a continuity between albums, but I like all of them to kind of be sort of like what I feel at that particular time and kind of have their own thing. So the new music is gonna be darker and heavier, as if it wasn't dark enough already. But that's the only thing I can say for that right now. Yeah.
Sounds exciting. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Well, I want to give a shout out to people that have been watching us here in the chat room. Let's see if I can give them a hi real quick and see if we're making some comments here. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit and let's see who we got in here today. Pierre Garza, thanks for joining us, Pierre. Says Brownsville and 707 everywhere.
Oh, nice.
Yes. He knows you, King in Yellow Tones. Hell yeah. He's got the button accidentally too. And Raphael, thanks for joining in. Raphael from Scullium, coming at us from Phoenix, Arizona. He was messaging me earlier, and I said, you guys got to make sure you listen to King in Yellow. So thank you for tuning in tonight, Raphael.
We got to hang out there sometime.
Yeah. Who else we got in here? Abe Cruz, Catalan.
That's my dad. That's my dad. That's my dad.
Yeah. Yesenina Estrada.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
you,
Ken
everybody.
Flores, King in Yellow, the best.
Oh,
Hell
Ken,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Norman
Everybody, my
Rodriguez,
friends,
Alacon.
My mom, yeah. I'm telling you, man, they support me a lot. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
remember, guys, I don't have my glasses, so I'm working on the pronunciation.
That's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, you're good, Tony.
So excellent band, King in Yellow. She knows. Hell yeah. And good, that got us caught up. Everybody, thanks for watching us tonight. Before we wrap things up, gentlemen, I got a little segment I call Draw the Line, man. So I'll shoot at you a couple of bands that I think are kind of very comparable to each other. And you tell me if they were playing in your town tonight, or if you had a chance to open for one of them tonight, which one of these bands would you go with? So
Okay.
All right, go for it.
we're gonna start with Daniel on this one. Okay, so starting off with this one, who do you prefer between Bonzilla versus the Weed Eater? I say but Weed Eater.
And it was Bongzilla or Weed Eater, correct?
Yeah,
I have to go with Bongzilla, man.
Bonzilla's got some hits.
I got into them before, Weed Eater and stuff.
They're old school, yeah, dude. They've been around, absolutely.
Been around for a good minute. So I bought a few of their albums, like at Hastings when Hastings was around still back in the day. So that was a cool little spot. But yeah, that's the band that I would open up for.
Originally, I was going to put Electric Wizard, but I had to change Electric Wizard to Weed Eater because I know it'd be Electric Wizard all day.
Right away.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the asterisk for this one. All right, Chris, tell me, Bongzilla or Weed Eater?
Probably Bongzilla because I'm more familiar with Bongzilla. So yeah, I go with Bongzilla for sure too.
All right.
Ivan,
what do you think? Out of those two bands, who do you like the most?
I'll go with Bongzilla.
Bongzilla takes it. And Abel?
I'm gonna go with Weed Eater. Yeah. I love Weed Eater. I think they're super entertaining to watch as a band. Their sound is so nasty and grungy, and
yeah, it is.
I love Dixie, the vocalist. He's crazy, and I would love to open. I'm not even open for them. Just see them, watch them live. I think they're a very entertaining band, and they're heavy as hell. So yeah, I love their drummer too. So I'm gonna go with. I love Bongzilla, but I prefer Weed Eater. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Hell yeah. Okay, next two. We got, back at you, Daniel, Alice in Chains versus Danzig.
I'm gonna go with Alice in Chains, man. Yeah, I was more into Alice. I mean, I knew of Danzig because of my cousin back in the early '90s, but I was still more into Alice in Chains. I was a little bit more into that whole grunge era. That's just me personally, so that's what I'm gonna go with.
Okay, Alice it is. What do you think, Chris?
100% Danzig for sure. Yeah, like I grew up listening to a lot of Danzig, and of course like Misfits too. So I saw Danzig back when I was a kid too, and he was a cool dude, man. He signed my shirt. Like I honestly thought he was gonna be kind of like a
you met him. Wow.
Yeah, it was cool because it was after the show, and a lot of people had already left like the venue. I was just like a little like concert rat that was like, I want to see like and I remember I saw like maybe like 10 to 15 people lined up near the tour bus, and I was like, well, I want to see. And sure enough, he was there. I remember he was sitting by the steps, and he was just signing. And I remember when I asked him to sign my shirt, he was like a super nice dude, and he's just like, here you go, hope you enjoyed the show. I was like, thanks, And I've always liked Danzig, so for sure that's an easy one for me. So
very cool story.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ivan? Danzig or Alice in Chains? Which one's your band?
Alice in Chains for sure. That's what it was.
Alice in Chains, Jerry Cantrell, all that. I love the vocals between them two. Hell yeah.
That's good stuff.
Well, and Abel, what do you think? Who do you favor?
Oh, I will go with Danzig all the way. I love Danzig, huge fan, big inspiration artistically. I love the Misfits. I've seen both Danzig live and the Misfits, and it's just my jam, my vibe. Those first 3 records are impeccable.
Yes.
So I would go with Danzig. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Those first 3 records, man, were really groundbreaking. And one of my favorite songs is She Rides. I love She Rides. I can hear that all day.
Yeah,
what a hit.
Twist of Cain was the first song I learned how to play on guitar. So.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
hey.
Hell of a riff.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a riff. Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Great fucking band there. Okay, third one. Mastodon versus Clutch, Daniel.
I'll go with Mastodon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know more of Mastodon than like the other band Clutch. So yeah, Mastodon all day.
Mastodon it is. All right. And Chris?
For me, it was Clutch. Just because I work at a tattoo shop, right? And
Yeah.
when I first started off here, they played a lot of Clutch and a lot of Bongzilla. That's why I'm way more familiar with Bongzilla. So Clutch was constantly played. So I got accustomed to listening to it because I had to. And then from there, like I just started listening to it on my own. So yeah, Clutch for sure.
Cool. All right. Ivan, who do you like out of them two?
Mastodon for sure. I really like that song, Two Drinker.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would love to see them.
That's a bad jam. Yes, dude. Oh, I love me Blood Mountain. That's my favorite one for those guys. That was a fucking banger.
As well.
Nice.
And Abel, what do you think? Clutch or Mastodon?
I'm gonna go with Mastodon too. I love Mastodon. Kind of bummed out that Brent is out of the band.
I know. What the fuck?
Yeah, he's an incredible.
He's a wild man,
guitarist,
though.
But yeah, it's all right. I mean, they still sound badass, and yeah, I would go with Mastodon. I love them. One of those bands that I listened to when I was very young as well, and got to grow up listening to them, and badass. So Mastodon.
Hell yeah. Good to see them always grinding still. We're going to miss you, Brent. I'm sure he's going to come. He probably already has another side project. They're going to end up dropping something soon. Hell yeah. Okay. I got a couple more for us. This is for you, Dan. Is it Led Zeppelin or is it Black Sabbath?
Black Sabbath all day for me.
All right. Billboard, yes. Hell yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Led Zeppelin's cool, but I just wasn't into that. You know, it took me a while to kind of get into like Led Zeppelin. The Black Sabbath was what caught my ears, caught my soul, caught my attention. So Black Sabbath all day, man.
Got you. All right. And Chris?
Same thing. You know, like I respect Led Zeppelin, you know, because they've been around forever and everybody loves them and stuff. But for me, like it just wasn't my thing, you know. Black Sabbath was 100% my thing. Because same thing, they were up there like in with the big names as a young metalhead trying to see who's like hot and all that stuff, you know, through the time and all that. So Black Sabbath is definitely like for me easy. So easy pick.
Cool. And what do you think, Ivan? Is it Black Sabbath or Zeppelin for you?
For me, it's a hard one because I really love Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. So what would?
Who's it gonna be? I want you to pick one. Give me one.
It's because I really like both.
It's a hard one, yeah.
What about you, Abel? What do you think?
Oh, you're skipping him? Come on.
All right.
No. I thought he was gonna let me skip him because he said it's a hard one. No, well then let's not skip. Give it to me, Ivan.
All right, so Black Sabbath, right?
Yeah, he said Black Sabbath. Yeah.
Sabbath it is. Tony Iommi steals it for you. All right.
Yeah.
Man, what about you, Abel?
Oh, Black Sabbath all the way, man. I mean, we're a doom metal band, so it's like we're gonna choose Black Sabbath. But yeah, I love Led Zeppelin too. Not so much as Black Sabbath, you know, Zeppelin kind of, but Black Sabbath I love almost everything. So yeah.
I've never owned a Led Zeppelin album. You know what I mean? Like I own Black Sabbath for sure. So that's
Yeah.
I never bought one. So I don't hate them. I just never, you know, and I never got encouraged to buy their stuff. So.
I like a few songs, but Sabbath, you know, I got all this stuff. So yeah.
Sabbath's eternal, dude. I can see you guys doing some killer Sabbath covers, man.
Oh, we would love to. Yeah.
That'd be sick.
We should
That'd be
do
totally
something.
sick. Okay, I got one more for us.
Nice.
All right.
Daniel, is it Typo Negative versus Ghost? Who's the band out of them two?
Typo Negative, man. I grew up with Typo Negative. Ghost, I've heard a few of their tracks, right? But yeah, Typo Negative all day, every day for me, man.
All right, Typo. And Chris?
Yeah, same thing because man, there was like all these bands that we're talking about. They're like they're resonating with me right now because they're all bands I saw at that same venue that every single one I've been talking about, Megadeth, Danzig, you know what I mean? Typo Negative is another one. So they just bring back a lot of memories of like how much fun I had. And and I was there specifically for those bands. So yeah, Typo Negative wins that one easy. So
I like it. Ivan, what do you think?
Typo Negative for sure. I love it.
Hell yes. Okay, all right. And Abel?
Oh, Typo Negative, yeah. Ghost was cool in the early albums, but Typo Negative is just legendary.
Man, I'd already forgotten what the second band was like. Who the fuck is
Just Typo Negative.
The other one was Ghost.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would say I did see Ghost a few years back, and even though I lost track of like after Meliora, I stopped listening to the new stuff, and you know I got the chance to see them, and I was like, yeah, I'll go see them, and they put a great show. But definitely love the earlier stuff more than the new stuff. Yeah, but Type O Negative is just one of those bands that's just legendary status. Yeah, yeah.
I like that. I like that Peter Steele when he brings that goth, doomy kind of feel to his projects, and it just what a presence, and rest in peace, Peter.
Yeah, Green Man. Yeah.
It's here we are, 2025, and we've lost a lot of great guys, man. From the old. I'm surprised Ozzy's still with us. It's a fucking
I know.
a heavy metal miracle, and let me share something I was thinking. I think Ozzy's latest song is called "Gods of Rock and Roll."
Okay.
Have you guys heard that one by chance?
I haven't heard it. No.
It's his latest single, but I've always, me growing up as a metalhead and reading the Satanic Bible, there's always been this little lore about selling your soul for rock and roll, and to sell your soul and you become rich and famous. I hear this song from Ozzy, and nobody fucking has been through anything like Ozzy but Ozzy. Yeah. And I feel like he's had to sell his soul, man, because on this one, he's saying the only gods are the gods of rock and roll. And he's never been one that's been pro-God. He's always been on the devil side, always in his writings and stuff. So I feel like, maybe there is a little truth in that. Maybe he's never come out and said, "Hey, I sold my soul for rock and roll." He's never come out and said anything like that. But I feel like if there anybody that could have, it might have been the Ozman.
Yeah, because he's still alive too.
Yeah. Right? Fuck.
Might have been a pretty good deal.
And like Black Sabbath, I mean, that's like eternally one of the classic dark metal bands, and that's always been associated, and metal's always been associated with devils and darkness and demons and all that kind of stuff, and Black Sabbath being like the pinnacle of all of that. And so I don't know, but when you go see them live, it's all about right side up crosses. It's not like when you see Slayer, pentagrams and upside down crosses right from the get-go. It's not like that. When you see Ozzy, he's wearing a right side up cross.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's funny. Black Sabbath could be the first Christian metal band. Not that we're Christian. But Master Reality, we got songs like After Forever and Lord of This World, and they're kind of like Christian lyrics and stuff, and which is so funny. Like Black Sabbath, like everybody like projected this satanic image to them, and they're like, well, not really, but
not really, right?
Ozzy himself as a solo artist, because it sells, shock sells. He got more into that, So I mean, man. It's crazy. It's crazy because all the roads lead back to Black Sabbath. Heavy metal was Black Sabbath, stoner with Sweet Leaf. Christian metal with After Forever, and everything's there. Speed metal, you got Neon Knights and stuff. So like everything leads back to Black Sabbath. They did an institution, and somebody, I don't know who, but somebody said like all the riffs were made by Tony Iommi, and we're all just ripping them off. So
that's right. We're just ripping them off. Everybody's a Black Sabbath ripoff. I know where they're coming from. Maybe we sped it up. Maybe we changed the note. But it all comes from them. They've done it already. Hail Black Sabbath. Hell yeah. And hail King in Yellow, man. You guys have got a great special thing going on. The four of you guys coming together live and performing all the music that I've already been able to talk about here with the original self-titled King in Yellow, and also that you can't find them anymore because it's already out of press. The latest release right here, Boleskine Dream. Heavy stuff, man. So you guys out there, my watchers and your listeners out here on the Tony Gomez Show, please go to King in Yellow's platforms on YouTube, on your favorite music platforms. Give them a like, give them a follow, subscribe, and get ready when they come and hit Texas, hopefully here in September time, because they're going to put on a fucking show that's going to blow your mind. So if you're stoner, or you're doom, or if you're into the occult, they got it all covered. If you just like heavy metal, you guys need to come give King in Yellow your attention, because these guys will not disappoint. They will kick your ass. Gentlemen, thanks a lot for joining me tonight. I appreciate you guys coming on. I would love to have you on. Maybe after we get a new release coming on, we can talk about some new music, if that's all right.
Always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having us on.
And when I met you guys here in town, just the kindest guys, and so cool and so easy to talk to. And me as a fan, seeing you guys perform, I can't wait to see you again. And Daniel, looks like we might be seeing each other here pretty soon for Annihilator rehearsal, right?
Yes, sir. We'll see you soon, man. I'll see you there, bud. I'll see you soon for a rehearsal soon.
Kick ass.
Yeah.
So Daniel, Chris, Ivan, and Abel, it's been my honor to talk to you guys tonight.
Thank
King in
you.
Yellow in the house. My favorite fucking stoner doom metal that there is out there.
Thank
you guys
so
make
much.
sure you look at King in Yellow. And thanks to everybody
Thanks a lot.
joining us in the chat room tonight. Join us next week. I'm working on getting somebody, and I'm not sure who it is yet, but I'm working on Chuck from Crumbsuckers, and also working on getting 2 other surprise guests. It might be having Keitan De Peña from Hyrax joining us with his new project. So
Yeah.
I'll keep my fingers crossed. In the meantime, King in Yellow, thanks again, brothers. And I hope to
Thank
see
you,
you
man.
all
Have a
soon.
good one.
I'll keep in touch. And y'all guys have a good night. And I'll see you later.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having us, man.
Bye.
Yeah.
Pleasure's all mine, guys. Thanks a lot. Keep burning and keep rocking. Keep grinding.
Man, peace.
Hell yeah.
Later,
Thank you,
brother.
man.
Thank you.
Later, guys.
Later.
Peace.